Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Now welcome to the cacti and succulent plants polytunnel revamp and rearranging part 4. And the past 1 to 3 parts I did all of the cacti, all rearranged. Just got left the tall ones that I'm going to do at the very last. I'm going to be putting them at the back. And in the last video I did all the apuntias and echinopsises and the astrophytums, all done there. And in today's video I'm going to be concentrating on the succulents. And I have here the Aloes, Gasterias, Haworthias, and some here we've got some Echeverias, all different types of succulents, crassulas. And as you can see here, it's a bit of a mess all on here. We have the only other type of cacti we have in here, some of the smaller epiphyllums that we've got on the tray. They're going to be staying there, but I'm obviously going to be taking all this off and giving it all a good clean and rearranging. And what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to start on this side first. All these is what I did in the first video. All these are all cacti all rearranged. And there's a bit of room underneath here. I'm probably going to got some agaves that I'm going to be putting under the table just to overwinter. And these 3 trays are going to be coming off now. Going to be a complete clean and complete wipe. And then I'm going to be rearranging some of the obviously the taller succulents probably staying at the back there, putting them back on, and some of the smaller succulents on here. And I want to have at least another tray, possibly 2 trays here free, where I can then put some of the succulents that are on here onto here. Then it will give me a bit more room for the aloes. As you can see there, the stand is pretty full. They've grown quite well over the summer period, and a lot of them are winter growers still. So although I'll be keeping the majority of all them dry because they're kept in a cool polytunnel at 5 degrees C, 41 degree Fahrenheit minimum, they do still sort of grow. They don't have a complete winter dormancy like some other succulents do. As you can see there, we've got a few coming into flower spike there. So I'm going to be probably having a bit more space for them. And there's a lot of space here on the plant stand, especially at the top. So I'm just going to make it look a lot better, giving all this a clean, look, soil everywhere, and removing any of the dead leaves, because dead leaves on plants can certainly encourage fungus, especially during the cold winter months. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, guys. And then that's going to be the polytunnel completely finished. And they're all done, then rearranged for the winter. And all I have to do then is just come in every day or every couple of days just to check that the plants are bug free and happy and healthy. So what I'm going to be doing is clearing this now and showing you what it looks like when it's all cleared. Now, there are lots of succulents, especially the aenium types. They very regularly drop these sort of dried leaves, and it's always best to remove them because they do collect fungus during the winter time, and it makes them look a lot tidier too. And that's also what I'm going to be doing before I put anything back up on the trays, is to make sure all of these dead leaves are all removed. And I normally would be pruning them back a bit, but it's the wrong time of year now, so I'll be doing all that in spring. Far better just to make sure that all of the dead leaves are all off and removed from the soil as well. Now that's the trays all cleaned and the table cleaned, and I bought in an extra tray as well because there wasn't an extra tray, and I've got more trays since then, so there's 4 trays now. And what I'm going to be doing is probably focusing first on the big crassula jades, and I have a few smaller jades under there. Also have a jade bowl garden I'm going to be completely repotting up and putting other little jades all around it. So stay tuned for a future video when I do a little jade bowl garden arrangement. Again, not the best time of year to be doing that. Spring is always better. But because this is in desperate need, I'm going to be doing it at this time of year and just keeping it more or less dry and then putting it back into the polytunnel. So stay tuned for that, probably coming up in probably a few days' time. And then because I've got some of the epiphyllums and their cacti, I'm going to be putting them on this side and then the big jades at the back. So this is what it looks like now, and this is what it's going to look like after it's done. Tra-la to this. And I have to admit, it does look a bit like a jungle, and it's much easier, I find, to display cacti nice and tidy than it is with succulents, because there are many different variations and they grow at completely different rates and they look so varied. So it does look a bit like a jungle, but it's the best I can sort of do. And this is mainly for overwintering anyway, and they're in desperate need, as you can see, of a very good pruning back. But I'm not going to prune any of these succulents now until the springtime. And that's because I'm in the Northern Hemisphere and it's just not the right time of year to prune succulents unless it was an emergency, obviously. But if you want to know how to prune succulents, links up above to a video I've made on how to prune succulents. But as I say, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, like I am here in Ireland and UK, you're best to wait until the spring to do it. But if you're living in, say like Australia, for example, or South Africa, and you don't have to worry about pruning back because it's not winter, it's your spring now, then you can go ahead and prune. I say do check out that video. But I've got a mixture of a bit of everything. It's very hard for me to group things in their genus order because all the succulents grow at completely different rates. But there's a lot of space now on this stand, and these are all the succulents still left that I have to put onto the stand. I'm going to rearrange all these stand necks, and then anything I've got left over on there, I can put some of the extra aloes on the stand at the end there. But the aloes and Gasterias are pretty much okay as they are, but I could spread them out if there's a bit more room. But as I say, got crassulas, jades, everything here. This is an absolutely gorgeous, this is called Crassula Crassula pellucida marginalis variegata, and the reason why I can never remember the name of it and always getting asked when it's in my update videos, it is a gorgeous crassula, and beautiful. It goes really red in sunshine. It gets plenty of sun up on the shelf, but I've moved it down here now. It's still going to get plenty of sun there. And as I say, some of the succulents do still want to grow during the winter time, so some of them that I will need to still give a tiny bit of water, maybe once a month in the polytunnel. I've sort of kept on the saucers there, so the water doesn't run out and go onto the ones that don't need watering. And happy days. So that's that done. But gosh, what a job, guys. And that's all the bucket filled with all dead leaves and everything else like that I've had to remove. I'm looking forward to giving all this a big pruning back in the spring. Now I'm going to start on the plant stand. As you can see, leaves, soil everywhere, plants everywhere, a bit of a mess, plants on the floor. But I'm going to give all this a bit, take everything off, and then rearrange it all. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like now. And this is what it's going to look like afterwards. Tra-la! That's the plant stand, all done with the succulents. And as you can see, there's loads of room now, which is absolutely fantastic, because the trouble with this stand is when it was too cluttered on the top with plants, it blocked out a lot of the light going underneath. But now, as you can see, I've got smaller ones on the top, all going to get maximum light, and loads of space under this shelf here, so loads of light can go around and onto the plants. And the same with the bottom as well, the third one I should say down, loads of space. And because I've got these two shelves empty now here, especially the bottom one, which is completely empty, I've got my couple of big bowls of aloes that I've grown from seed in there, and I'm going to be putting them onto here, onto the bottom shelves, and it's going to free it up a little bit there as well. And that's all I'm going to be doing then. And then I'm going to be putting my lovely big old Slumbergia truncata, commonly known as the Thanksgiving or Christmas cactus, but it's true Thanksgiving, not the true Christmas cactus, because it has doesn't have the scalloped leaves. And I'm happy to say it is coming into bud, packed with buds. So this is a plant that's going to be going onto the table here, and probably keeping it in the same position into the side there. I don't want to bring it into the house, because it's coming into bud, and with the artificial lighting in the house it could drop the buds. And also the fact that it is very cold tolerant, up to about 5 Celsius, 41 degree Fahrenheit anyway, so I'd only really bring it in if I really needed to. Probably when it is completely flowering, it's nice to bring it in then into the house to enjoy the flowers when they're sort of already flowering. But if I was to move this now, it could drop the buds, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to be putting that on there, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And now what I'm going to be doing is putting the 2 big bowls of aloes on here, and probably maybe a few more depending on how I go. But this is what I've got on here. I've got my string of pearls. That's lovely, hanging down like that. This is string of banana, no, string of tears, sorry, this is the string of tears one, hanging down there. Again, you can see different shape to the pearls, so that's very nice on there. Now I have my string of, yeah, this is my string of bananas, which I've got on the next shelf down, hanging down. As you can see, resembles bananas. Well, it's called a string of bananas. So they're sort of all together there, and a mixture of everything, lots of different succulents on there, as you can see. And then a lot of the sort of the creme de la creme of my succulents on the top shelf here. This one is absolutely gorgeous. This crassula, now this is crassula, it's commonly known as the baby's necklace. This is crassula, let me just check that. Crassula Klein Dumensi. And it's one of the baby's necklace type of crassulas, and it is all in bud at the moment. Look at that, guys. As I say, a lot of the succulents will still be sort of fall, autumn, winter growers. So these I'll continue to give it a slight bit of water to, but the majority keeping all practically dry, because they store water in their succulent stems. So even when they're growing and flowering in the winter, they're not going to die unless they're absolutely shriveling up. So that's there. So happy days with all the succulents. And we've got then two very large aloes that I've got at the bottom here. These were Hansi's that he brought over from Sweden. Absolutely beautiful. Aloe arborescens there. Beautiful old specimen of a plant. And this is a traditional aloe vera there. Huge. Absolutely huge. And they're there a little bit slightly under the table, so get a little bit of shade. But they will be fantastic there. And then I'm going to work on the aloes here. As I say, the aloes and Gasterias. This is a good lighting for these. They're the best they've ever been this year, I have to say. The light does come onto them, and because there's lots of gaps in between, the sun comes down as well and through the sides. But it's just the very bottom ones that's always bothered me a little bit. These are ones I've grown from seed, as is the top one there. Aloe arborescens and aloe arborescens there. That's going to be going onto the bottom. And that's it. So let's get going, and nearly done, guys. All I have to do then is bring the 3 big agaves that are out in the yard, because they can take very cold temperatures, but obviously not when it's damp and not frost. So they're going to be going in here, and possibly when I put that onto this little table, then the agaves can go under there. But first of all, I'm just going to move some of the aloes around and show you what it looks like after. Woohoo! That's it, all done completely. I've put some of the aloes on the bottom there, some of the larger ones. The aloes Elgenicas that I've grown from seed, I've got them on the bottom shelf here, and another little aloe there, and one of my Gasterias I've got there as well. And I put a little Haworthia truncata there as well. Just had a little bit of variety, and a lovely variegated Gasteria here as well to add a bit of variety. And as you can see, loads of space still left on this shelf, so they're going to get loads of light and not cluttered, which is absolutely fantastic. I put a couple of aloes there on the bottom, and I've took the 2 black trays away from the bottom. That's instantly added more light going up to the other ones as well, as you can see there. Kept all the other aloes the same, because they all seem to be pretty happy. And as I say, some are coming into bud. That's one under there. And I've put my lovely old Slumbergera truncata here on the lovely little plant stand, and kept it in the same position so it doesn't drop its buds. And what's wonderful, this actually flowered in the summer as well, guys, even though it's known as Christmas and Thanksgiving cactus. And lovely seed pods, because I pollinated them, so that's really good to see. Seed pods there, and loads of buds on this beauty. It is packed, guys. So in a month's time, this is going to be absolutely blooming beautiful, and it flowers every year for me without fail. Loads of gorgeous red blooms. Absolutely love it. And this particular Slumbergera truncata is possibly about 60 years, possibly even older. Not quite sure, but I know it's a very old plant. So there we go, and I've got the agaves underneath the table there. And I've made so much more room, which means more light for all of the plants. This table's a little bit like a jungle, but they get lots of light. And as I say, the reason why it's so jungle-like is these succulents need a good pruning, which, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing in the spring, and just not the time of year now. But they're pretty much okay there. And have to say, that is all of the whole of the polytunnel done. The only thing I have left to do, but I'm not going to include it in this video because I could do that over the next couple of days, and I'll show you what the whole polytunnel looks like. I'll do a complete tour of the cacti and succulent plant polytunnel in about a week or two when things have calmed down a little bit, because it's quite tiring. I just have to put these big tall ones then away. I'll probably put them going in the centre around, so I can able to walk into the polytunnel and walk around it and check all the plants on a regular basis. So it's going to be much easier to manoeuvre in here. So that's all I really have to do. But in the meantime, these big tall ones are okay. They're just for now. And that's it then, guys. So that's the whole part 1 to 4 series of revamping and rearranging all the cacti and succulents in the polytunnel. And happy to say, guys, that it's been fun and games, and I'm glad that it's all done now. I can sort of relax a little bit, and these are all nice and cozy for the winter. And as I say, we have a greenhouse heater there that kicks on when it drops below 5. We've had a couple of very cold nights, but the days are pretty mild in general, so don't really need to have to worry about the heater on during the days at the moment, so that's pretty good. And just look at these wonderful big juicy seed pods. I'm going to be harvesting these soon. Wonderful, wonderful on my epiphyllum cactus, Mrs. G. Boheme. Big juicy seed pods ready for the harvesting. So I'm going to be doing that as well and do a video when I do. So guys, thank you so much for watching and all of your support. And if you want to know a little bit more on how to grow cacti and succulents, and also if you just want to know about overwintering, or do you want to check out my website, please do, desertplantsofavalon.com. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until the next video,